God damn! Damn! God damn!
If you watch late night TV, you already know about Girls Gone Wild and backyard wrestling. But there's a new tape in town. Get ready for Uncle Goddamn.
One of the first Ruckus DVDs I ever bought when I started my collection was the underground classic, Uncle Goddamn. I don't remember how exactly I heard about Uncle Goddamn, but I remember it was one of those videos that I had to check out after I heard about it. From what I came to understand about the video, it was this family who would torture their uncle whenever he would get drunk. And I mean, they would like pull some sadistic pranks and, you know, set him on fire and do some really awful things to their family member. To give you a better idea on what I'm talking about, here is the short synopsis which is printed on the back of the DVD. These are the amazing camcorder antics of a real-life white trash family direct from a trailer park in North Carolina. You will not believe some of the cruel, sadistic practical jokes played on poor old Uncle Goddamn by his loving friends and family. They completely wrap his head in box tape, spray paint his face with Rust-Oleum, and even set his crotch on fire with lighter fluid. It's no wonder that people also call this the amazing redneck torture tape. So yeah, it was presented as this exploitative abuse comedy where a family practically tortures their family member. And as f***ed up as it sounds, I needed to check it out. Because the idea that a family would do this to somebody that they love really intrigued me. So I grabbed it off eBay for 20 bucks, and not soon after, it showed up at my house. So yeah, I was excited to watch it. I popped it in my DVD player, and I checked it out. My initial reaction was that it was very mean. Apparently these clips were originally traded on VHS tapes, so VHS traders would send them to one another and trade them for other ones, and this video was the collection of a lot of them. They lit their uncle on fire, they spray painted his face, they even tricked him into drinking urine. While the video itself lacked any true editing or pacing, the content itself was enough to keep me intrigued. The content is really f***ed up. Like, some stuff is a lot worse than others, but by the end of it, you feel really bad for Uncle Goddamn. I mean, some of the stuff they do to him just kind of like crosses the line of pranks and, you know, funny to just being, like, abuse. And I don't know how much Uncle Goddamn was actually, like, a willing participant in the whole thing. And I started to think about not only why a family would do this to somebody they love, but also how did this video ever get made in the first place? Let alone how did it end up on this DVD? And I wanted to know a little bit more, so I started to dig deeper into the Uncle Goddamn lore. Little did I know that this was going to open a rabbit hole all surrounding this simple DVD. The back cover of the DVD featured a bit more information, including 2 separate URL links. The first was UncleGoddamn.com. The earliest screenshot from the website was from March of 2001. The website was what you'd expect of a homemade website from 2001, and didn't have much besides some information on each member, a few screenshots, and 3 .ram files which I was unable to convert despite my best attempts. I started clicking through the screenshots of the website, and it gradually had a few other things added. But the main thing that caught my attention was an alleged headstone for Uncle Goddamn himself. According to this tombstone, Uncle Goddamn unalived in 1998, which shocked me because Uncle Goddamn started getting advertised in the early 2000s, meaning the prank victim of Uncle Goddamn had been unalive for many years, yet the video itself was still getting pushed. Also, the website taught me that Pappy, one of the other stars in the video, was Uncle Goddamn's brother. As I kept searching through the screenshots, I was surprised to see that sometime in late 2004, the website got a major update, and gave it a much more professional look. There wasn't much content added, but for the first time on the new website, I saw the front cover of what most people now know as the Uncle Goddamn DVD. This was the first time the Uncle Goddamn website showed this cover as far as I could tell, so it made me wonder what happened. Did the creator of Uncle Goddamn decide to finally print a round of DVDs? Or at this point, was there somebody new involved with Uncle Goddamn? And it was at this point I remembered that UncleGoddamn.com wasn't the only URL on the back of the DVD. And there was actually another URL listed as DISINFO.com that I hadn't visited yet. And it just so happened that the screenshot of the page I was looking at featured a link titled DISINFO. So I clicked it. I was met with this politically charged news website, which had this underlying tone of free thinking. I don't really know how to describe the disinformation company to you guys, but luckily the Uncle Goddamn DVD actually features a disinformation company promo in the bonus section. So to show you guys exactly what the disinformation company would advertise themselves as, I'm just going to show you the entire 40-second teaser.
When you watch television, do you get reality or what major multinational corporations want you to accept as reality? Whoever controls what you see controls what you think. That's why it's called programming. So think of disinformation as deprogramming. If you don't wonder if we made this stuff up, we're not doing our job right.
Yeah, I still don't know what the disinformation company was supposed to be, but luckily, there was a list of other DVDs you could buy from them, including Rupert Murdoch's War on Journalism, How Arnold Won the West, and here's my personal favorite, Gay Republicans. I didn't really get any more answers from the disinformation company website, so I went back to that bonus section from the Uncle Goddamn DVD, and it actually featured 4 separate videos. These 4 separate videos were said to be, quote, segments that originally appeared in the infamous banned Disinformation TV show, which is also available from Disinformation. I went ahead and watched each of these 4 videos, and here's what I saw. These 4 videos featured this dude just kind of like introducing the Uncle Goddamn videos and then kind of explaining them and just showing them in short montages. And while it featured just a handful of bonus clips, it didn't really give me any more information on what the disinformation company was or this apparent show. But I will say, I was shocked by the professional look of the show and the professional attitude of the guy and how he approached the Uncle Goddamn tape. I mean, it seemed like he was trying to have some sort of journalistic integrity, but I mean, when you're talking about Uncle Goddamn, it's kind of hard to do that. I figured there had to be more to this apparent banned television show, so I did a Google search. And right at the top of the list was a Wikipedia page for a show titled Disinformation. This Wikipedia article said the following. Disinformation, also known as Disinfo Nation, was a television show hosted by Richard Metzger. It was aired for 2 seasons on Channel 4 in the UK as part of their late night for later programming block. Called A Punk Rock 60 Minutes and Wilder Than Jackass by the Los Angeles Times and Wired Magazine, respectively, the 16 30-minute episodes produced for C4 were then cut down to 4 one-hour specials. I was surprised to hear that there was actually a show by the Disinformation Company, but I was even more shocked to find that DVDs are still easily available on eBay for only a few dollars. So I went ahead and bought one. And while I waited, I actually found 3 of the 4 episodes were re-uploaded on YouTube. So I went ahead and watched them. First things first, the promo from that Uncle Goddamn DVD earlier was actually the show's intro. The show covered a variety of topics from satanic cults, conspiracy theories, and transgender individuals, amongst a variety of other topics. The show made sure to ask hard-hitting questions which major news organizations were too afraid to ask.
Why do you think they are marketing she-male porn to their presumably heterosexual male readers?
The description of the show being a punk rock 60 minutes was perfect. because despite some of the off-the-wall topics, it did try to maintain a bit of the journalistic integrity, which a show like that wouldn't usually have. So yeah, despite having some pretty off-the-wall topics, it tried to be a serious show. And one of these off-the-wall topics was Uncle Goddamn. These 3 episodes, and I assume the 4th, each featured a segment for Uncle Goddamn. These segments were the same from earlier, but would also feature the host plugging the Uncle Goddamn store and telling you can go there to buy the DVD. But what's funny is if you went to the Uncle Goddamn website to buy it, it would link you back to the Disinformation store. So basically the Disinformation company was promoting the DVD that they were selling, but trying to make it look like that they weren't selling it. And with that realization, I started thinking, what are the odds that Uncle Goddamn was just something that was created specifically for this show? The other thing that aided this thought was that there was a short section of thank yous during the credits, and in these thank yous was a man named Dale Elmore. Dale Elmore is listed as the video's director, so it would make perfect sense for them to thank the guy who supplied the footage, but I also started wondering, what if this was just an actor playing a role? I mean, listen, Ruckus videos are very easy to fake. For example, Hunting for Bambi got national news attention, yet when you watch it, it's one of the fakest pieces of shit you'll ever see. And another example is FUTV. I interviewed the creator himself, who admitted to most of it being fake. Despite going through all of the stuff on the Disinformation company, it wasn't going to lead me anywhere else. So now, I started looking into Dale Elmore. The name Dale Elmore wasn't connected to any other projects. I did, however, find another YouTube channel which covered the Uncle Goddamn video. So I took a few minutes to check out this video.
Uncle Goddamn, also known as the Amazing Redneck Torture Tape, is a collection of home videos stemming from the Elmer family, living in a trailer park in North Carolina. These home videos consist of various family members pulling pranks on Robert while he's heavily inebriated and often falling in and out of consciousness. Some of these pranks are your typical run-of-the-mill antics, such as putting shaving cream in Robert's hand and then tickling his nose for him to cream pie his own face.
However, when I looked at the comments, I was surprised at what was at the very top of the page.
Thanks for the review. I just put up some unreleased Uncle Goddamn clips on YouTube, and he in 1998 from pneumonia. I am the director of Uncle Goddamn, and he was my real uncle. Check out my YouTube channel for more Uncle Goddamn stuff. Just look up Dale Elmore. If anyone has any questions, just leave it in the comments and I will answer you back.
This channel was named Dale from Shelby, which was the right name and the right city. The channel also had over 350 videos, with some of the most recent being uploaded that same week. I went through the page to see if I could find anything related to the Uncle Goddamn video, and I eventually found several interesting bits. And that would be some extra unseen skits of the 3 main characters from Uncle Goddamn. The videos you're seeing on screen now are the videos I found, including Uncle Goddamn trying to smoke a stick, Pappy falling over in a drunken state, and Rocky getting antiqued. This was enough to prove to me that this had to be the guy who directed Uncle Goddamn. So I decided to comment on the video and just simply ask him if he had anything to say about Uncle Goddamn. What would follow was several comments back and forth, and here's that entire conversation. Hello, Dale. I was curious if I could get any sort of statement from you regarding the Uncle Goddamn tapes. I wanted to include it in a video I am currently making covering the Uncle Goddamn video. Thanks a lot.
Sure, you can use whatever you need. Disinformation TV used to own the rights, but they don't exist anymore. So if anyone else bought it, they owe me some money, LOL.
Cool. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any reprints, but I'll keep an eye out. How do you feel about the video some 40 years later?
It keeps my dad and uncle alive. I'm glad I got to film them back then. That was a crazy time. I was still in my 20s. Now I'm 57.
That's amazing, bro. One final question and I promise I'm done. How do you feel about everything you guys did to your uncle now that you're older?
You've got to realize that when his face was painted silver, that's not paint. It's the stuff you spray in your hair and it washes right out. As for the fire, he was wearing underwear, long johns, and blue jeans. He said he didn't even feel it. When he sees it, he puts it out. People always assume the worst, so we never told them any different. I used to put lighter fluid on me and do the same thing. It freaks people out. You can ask more questions. It doesn't bother me.
So I'm embarrassed to say this, but at this point I actually missed his response back. Somehow I missed the notification and I just didn't know he responded to me. So yeah, that's my fault, guys. So during this time, while I thought I was waiting on a response, I did some more digging. I found Dale on Facebook and I cross-referenced his name with the term Uncle Goddamn. And what I found was pretty cool. I found something that Dale himself posted in a Facebook group for fans of the band Anti-Scene. On this post, he stated, "Ran into the Dean of Sods tonight. Good to see you again, brother. Anyone interested in getting Uncle Goddamn Part 2, I'll be selling more soon." With 3 additional pictures. The first picture is Dale himself alongside the Dean of Sods. The other 2 pictures show the front cover and the back cover of what seemed to be an official sequel to Uncle Goddamn 2. This sequel wasn't anywhere online from what I had seen, so I didn't really know what to make of it, but if there was any chance I could get some more of this delicious redneck torture, I had to. And luckily at this point I noticed I had a message back from the guy, so I went ahead and continued to ask about his family. He then confirmed to me that Uncle Goddamn had unalived in 1998, but also that Pappy had unalived in 2005. Honestly, I was really saddened to hear this. I mean, at this point, I started believing that they were just a misunderstood family. And it dawned on me that since Uncle Goddamn had been unalive since 1998, we would never get his side of the Uncle Goddamn video. I still went on to ask about the Uncle Goddamn 2 video, and Dale confirmed that it was all the unused footage compiled for a sequel. I asked Dale if there was any way I could buy this Uncle Goddamn 2 video from him, and he simply responded,
Send me an address and I'll send you a copy of Part 2.
So, that's exactly what I did. We got in contact on Facebook, I sent him my details, and I had nothing more I could do but wait. Copy of this unseen sequel to Uncle Goddamn 2, and while I was waiting, I kept doing research. And it was at this point when I found something which flipped everything I knew about Uncle Goddamn on its head. I took a closer look at the Uncle Goddamn IMDb page, and at first glance, everything seems normal. But when I took a closer look at the actor page for Uncle Goddamn, I found something I didn't expect. Bob Elmore is actually a well-credited stunt actor with several roles under his belt. Acting roles in The Usual Suspects, stunt work in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as a body double for Leatherface, and most interestingly, he played the executioner in the Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. This person right here was apparently Uncle Goddamn. Robert Elmore, aka Bob Elmore, has all these other acting credits to his name. Not to mention, he was doing acting work in the mid-80s, which is when Uncle Goddamn was said to have been recorded. I started to flip back to the idea that the whole Uncle Goddamn thing was fake. The fact that the disinformation company owned the video, along with the fact that the guy who played Uncle Goddamn, the main prank victim, was a well-credited stunt actor, made it seem like it was fake. At this point, I was really bothered by if it was fake or if it wasn't. I had a lot of different feelings about this, and you know, it sounds weird, but I cared about this more than I've ever cared about anything else ever. I couldn't just straight up ask Dale because I didn't want it to compromise me getting Uncle Goddamn 2. So the only thing I could do was start looking in to Bob Elmore. I found a page on Demos Promotions covering Bob Elmore, which gave some more information on him. Big Bob Elmore began his Hollywood film career in stunts in 1985. Just a year later, he would be cast as the stuntman behind the mask in Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He would spend a total of over 22 years performing stunts on film and television. He was chosen by the late John Candy to be his personal stuntman on 5 of John's films, including the classic Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, Uncle Goddamn, it was starting to all make sense. After some more researching, I found Big Bob's official Facebook page, and lucky enough, there was an official phone number associated with the page. So I shot my shot and I called the number. But sadly, no one answered. So I left a voicemail and I figured I would just try again in a few days. Honestly, the idea that the Uncle Goddamn video was fake kinda intrigued me more. And what else intrigued me was this message I got from Dale not too long after. And a few short days later, I got a package in the mail. What a great way to start. Dale was cool enough to send me this for free just because I asked him for it. So, I'm not going to show you the other side because it has his address, but why don't we go ahead and see what's inside. Alright. First things first, we have one of the, some informed delivery bullshit. Something tells me Dale did not put that in there. We got a yellow, simple paper case, but inside we have something incredible. Uncle Goddamn 2 with a signature from Dale. This is the rare sequel to Uncle Goddamn, and I have no clue how many of these are out there. A very small amount from what I've been able to tell, and I am one of them. So why don't we go ahead, put this bad boy in, and see what it has to offer. So that night, I sat back, lit a cigar, grabbed a beer, and became one of only a handful of people to watch the lost sequel, Uncle Goddamn 2. So I really gotta say that the Uncle Goddamn 2 sequel felt like an authentic Uncle Goddamn sequel. Like, I felt like I was watching a DVD released by the DISINFORMATION company that was the actual sequel to Uncle Goddamn. I will say this, the covers to the DVD state that this was all of the stuff that didn't make it into Uncle Goddamn 1, which led me to believe that all of this footage was submitted but just wasn't picked for the video, and for most of the clips, you can tell why. While the original video is much more torturous in nature, the sequel featured clips of the Uncle Goddamn team hanging out with one another, including seeing Uncle Goddamn out and about, versus just being messed with at his house. One clip that stuck out to me was Uncle Goddamn meeting the band Jackal. When he approaches the band, they recognize him immediately and even ask him to do his catchphrase.
Goddamn.
Everyone around him seemed to get a kick out of it, which led me to believe that Uncle Goddamn was some kind of local celebrity. Other great Uncle Goddamn bits include him trying to smoke a stick, extended cuts from sections of the original Uncle Goddamn video, and several shots of Uncle Goddamn just kinda out and about. The other thing about this sequel was that while the first one focused on the torture of Robert, this one seemed to focus more on the torture of Pappy. Throughout the video, you see them mess with Pappy, he borderline sexually harasses a few women, he exposes himself to some friends, and of course we get to see him stumble around drunk as hell and fall multiple times. This had everything you would expect from an Uncle Goddamn sequel, but I must admit, I can understand why the DISINFORMATION company wouldn't be interested in a majority of these clips. Some bits are hard to understand what's happening, and some bits just wouldn't fit amongst the other bits in the original video. Still, this is an amazing piece for any person who collects these kind of videos, and for your viewing pleasure, I went ahead and made one of my spoiler alerts video for not only Uncle Goddamn 2, but the original Uncle Goddamn video as well, which is available to watch on my channel right now. So now that I watched nearly an hour and a half of Uncle Goddamn content, I was personally leaning towards the idea that the video was fake. Listen, from what I've came to understand, these dudes sold a very respectable amount of DVDs. Mix that with the idea that Uncle Goddamn wouldn't have been that hard to fake, along with the fact that the disinformation company was the owner of the video, along with the fact that Uncle Goddamn was apparently in Pirates of the Caribbean, it just seemed more likely than a family torturing their uncle. I still hadn't gotten any sort of response from Big Bob, and I decided to throw a Hail Mary pass and call him one more time.
Hello?
This is the face of somebody who wasn't expecting Big Bob to answer.
Hi, my name is Kobe, and I'm reaching out for a Big Bob.
Yes?
So this is a bit of a weird question. I'm actually doing a documentary about a video that people have argued that you starred in. And I figured I would just call you directly and see if you did star in that.
Did I talk to you the other day or somebody? I'm not sure.
Well, I left a voicemail on this number, but I never got anything back.
Oh, no, I did not.
Oh, you did not star in the Uncle Goddamn video?
Nope.
Well, thanks a lot. That answers that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, everybody said that you were actually the Uncle Goddamn, like the main character of that, so that's crazy to hear that. So now we have to figure out who that actually was, but I appreciate you taking the time to, answer that question for me.
No problem.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, will you please enjoy the rest of your day, man?
Bye.
Bye. Holy shit, he just answered that. So as you just heard, Bob Elmore, the Bob Elmore from Pirates of the Caribbean, was not in Uncle Goddamn.
I was shocked and stoked by this phone call. Big Bob was not Uncle Goddamn. It was actually possible that Uncle Goddamn was a real video. And now that I knew something the rest of the internet didn't, and I knew that the IMDb page was wrong because I talked to the man himself who was credited as Uncle Goddamn, I was elated. I love being right as much as I love the internet being wrong, so I started thinking of what was the next step. And I realized that Dale originally said that Uncle Goddamn was his real-life uncle. I also remember that the Uncle Goddamn website featured this picture of a tombstone which was said to be Uncle Goddamn's tombstone with the name Robert Lee Elmore. And the last thing I remembered was that Pappy was his father, and he was listed as Junior Elmore. So I did a simple Google search for Junior Elmore alongside Shelby. I was met with this listing on Find a Grave for a man named A.F. Elmore Jr., who unalived in 2005 in Shelby, North Carolina. I remembered in the original comment thread, Dale said his father unalived in 2005, so this seemed to be like the right person. I continued looking through the page, and when I scrolled down, I found a list of siblings. One name on the list jumped out to me immediately, Robert Lee Elmore. So I clicked this name, and I was met with a picture shot in 2017 of the same exact tombstone from the original Uncle Goddamn website. This page pretty much confirmed to me that everything that Dale told me was true, and pretty much confirmed that Uncle Goddamn was more than likely a real video.
Yeah, the reason I'm here today is we're here to pay a visit to Mr. Robert Elmore that left us, passed away in 1998. He was kind of a celebrity here in my hometown of Shelby, North Carolina. And if you ever want to visit the Uncle Goddamn's grave, he's buried at Rose Hill Cemetery here in Falston, North Carolina, and we're almost there. There's pretty hardcore stuff in it, but it's all in good fun. It's just a family playing pranks on each other, and Robert, he's just always feeling no pain as usual. We'd have him a drink here and there and get to feeling good. And here's the graveyard we're coming up on. It's called Rose Hill. we'll go ahead and head out to the grave. It's on the first row here, so it's pretty easy to find. But yeah, it's just it's amazing how the movie took off, and it was on I believe Netflix for a while, and I know Amazon. You can buy it off of Amazon, and there's clips on YouTube, of course. And right here is his grave. This is Robert Lee Elmore's grave. As you can see, he was born March 22nd, 1950, and sadly he left us on November 15th of 1998. And what I remember about him most is just being the, most kindest dude, super nice, always, joking, and just always, looking for a good time, having fun, and he lived his life his way, that's for sure. And I think that's how everybody should live. I think that makes for a happier life. Yeah, it's cool to see that he left his mark on this earth. So that's a pretty cool thing. So.
So as always, I have a handful of thoughts surrounding the Uncle Goddamn video. For starters, there's no way to prove that Uncle Goddamn was 100% a real video. And what I mean by that is there's no way to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Uncle Goddamn was 100% real. However, the fact that Dale told me a story which was backed up by all of these sources, along with the fact that Uncle Goddamn was a real person, helped their story big time. Chances are the Disinformation Company just bought the rights to the Uncle Goddamn stuff so they can use it on their show, and to make a little bit of money by selling the DVD. But the fact that Uncle Goddamn had been unalive for 25 years as of the posting of this video, it makes me really sad that we'll never get to hear his side of the story. I'm genuinely curious what he would think about the video in 2022. And the other thing I wanted to point out was the idea that the family tortured Uncle Goddamn. Listen, I know some of the things they did to that man was wild. But after spending a lot of time watching Uncle Goddamn and doing all this research, it truly seemed like the family and Uncle Goddamn got along really well. Sure, they fought, they yelled, they played jokes on each other. But at the end of it all, they would drink a beer with one another. That's family. Sure, some of what they did seemed crazy to any outsider looking in. But if I held a mirror up to you and your family and the way you guys mess with each other, would people think you guys were crazy too? And finally, the Uncle Goddamn 2 video puts the entire story of Uncle Goddamn in a new light. And while I enjoy being one of the only owners of a hard copy of Uncle Goddamn 2, I feel like it's something that needs to be seen by everyone. So I reached out to Dale and asked him how he would feel about me uploading the Uncle Goddamn video for everyone to watch. And lucky for you, Dale gave me his blessing. So I ripped the video, created an MP4 version, and began uploading it to archive.org. And after a short wait, the Uncle Goddamn 2 sequel is available in the description, and you can watch it and download it right now. Thank you so much to Dale from Shelby. Thank you for answering my questions, and thank you for letting me stalk you and evaluating your entire life. I appreciate you big time for sharing the Uncle Goddamn 2 video, not only with me, but with everybody. Rest in peace to both Pappy and Robert, aka Uncle Goddamn. If you ask me if I've learned anything from this entire experience, I don't think I did. Please subscribe, okay? I'm using a f***ing light like this, okay? And my camera has tape on it, okay? I don't have the little adapter piece for the tripod. It's being held up by tape, okay? And my other light, as you just heard, is a cell phone light. Please help me by subscribing so I can monetize and I can keep making videos just like this. It'd be cool. I think it'd be cool. Until next time.
God damn, let me go get us a beer.